that's my fight. Yeah, I read, I write, I slam, yeah, that's my fight. Yeah, I read, in our educational system. I slam, yeah, that's my fight. She started saying that to me.
Hello, nations, and thank you for joining us for this segment of The Connection. I am your host, Angela. Now, many of us have grown up hearing the statement, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And in this 21st century where education is being changed, reformed, and restructured, we'll see that there are people who are stepping up to do education just a little bit differently in order to combat what they say is wasting the minds of our youth. So they're coming up with ways that you could only imagine. We are here at the Jackson District Library in Jackson, Michigan. You will come to meet a young man who is doing just that, blazing the trail of education from a different perspective. So come on, go with me. Let's walk the corridors of the Jackson District Library and let's find out how lyrics is impacting education from that perspective.
For a child to be introduced to something of that nature at that young of age, that needs to be examined. Because what happened afterwards to this community here, not to mention the other communities that are ravaged, what happened is something that we have not recovered from. We haven't recovered from it. And see, supported. Because right now there's an educational institution that is set. It's been this way for several hundred years. And it's been this way for several hundred years in spite of the need for change to it. Because the need for change to it necessitates, we don't believe today. So we need to examine that if an individual thought in a way that whose thinking and mentality is not acceptable today, then how can we not analyze if their thinking played any role in the structure and formatting of that system? Do you understand that? So therefore, we're talking about the testing of our children today. So the tests are not applicable, so to speak, to our children. Why not? Because for one, it uses a whole set of language that is an instant barrier to a lot of the children that are being tested down in our educational system, with educators being unable to educate these children. So that means that we need alternative interventions. We need something like lyrical education. Why? Why do we need lyrical education today? Because our children are driven by other things in the house before. And at the clear blue sky, she says, listen. That's how powerful the word is. That's how powerful it is. And unfortunately, today, we don't understand how powerful that lyric is. Because gangs, thugs, drugs, violence. This is what we think hip-hop represents. And we don't think back in time, historically, when the historical substance of the information that was transmitted to humanity, historically, generation after generation, was transmitted to us in lyrics, in stories, in poems. There is not a single culture on this planet that we know of, and the ones that we may haven't even discovered, quite certain that when we do discover them, they're going to have some songs. They're going to have some stories. And in their songs will be history, will be names and dates and heroes and heroines. That's lyrical education. That is proof that lyrical education is essential in our communities. Because, for example, when we go to English class, one of the subjects of English is what? Poetry. It's one of the subjects of English. Hip-hop is a genre of poetry. So therefore, why is hip-hop left out? Because we're scared of it. Because we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to use it. So today I'm here to say that I found a way to use it. I found a way to use it. I call it spoken lyrics.
Create their slam to it. I mean, there's a paragraph on the mountains of somebody someplace, and they make their slam according to that?
Yeah. What would happen is, at lesson 9 and 10, whatever assignment that is assigned or given by the teacher, that assignment becomes, if you can write it in the book what your assignment is, and you begin to orchestrate your plan to investigate your subject. the information becomes selective. You see what I mean? It becomes selective, like it's highlighted. So these are highlights. That's why I pull vocabulary words out. So for me, math, algebra, and geometry, science, body with systems like chemistry, reading books, ELA, you see, writing my life stories, the manifestation of principality, civics, the Fourth Amendment, justice, I need that for me. History and revolution in America for all to see. It's in the books quite plainly. We must explore geography and the whole entire earth so our eyes can see. Lift our eyes up so our hearts can see. So our hearts could bleed as I write spoken word poetry. Freestyle right now so you can listen to me. Take it off the board right to your heart to see, so you can feel and breathe that which I see, that which I feel as I read and breathe, as I write and bleed, the ink that I bleed with the pen that I write, with the pen of my tongue that is not written in skin. Let me slow down before I begin my words to rhyme. And for lyrical education, the very first sentence is a lyrical flow. Money makes the world go round. Money makes the world go round. Money makes the world go round. See, that's a lyrical flow. That's almost like what we call a hook. Money makes the world go round. Now, we must fight in position. We must fight for our position in the world. So, money makes the world go round. Money makes the world go round. Fight for opposition, time to throw down. Money makes the world go round. Fight for opposition, it's time to throw down. Money makes the world go round. Fight for opposition, it's time to throw down. Money makes the world go round. And we continue to build this and we work our way all the way through. So I want to work our way all the way through until we have a song, a lyrical education song, right? So money makes the world go round. Must fight for opposition, time to throw down. Revolution changes history. Revolution changes history. Money makes the world go round. Must fight for opposition, time to throw down. Revolution changes history. We can break it up and go on from there. Revolution changes history.
Safe environment is what I want for me.
Good. Living. What'd you say?
A safe environment. Just switch to
Yeah.
something. A safe environment is what I want for me.
A safe environment is what
I want for me.
I want for me. Good. Good. We're all one people. Okay, good. Revolution changes history. A safe environment is what I want for me. We're all one people. No mystery. We're all one people.
No mystery.
Yeah, I like that. We're all one people. No mystery.
Yeah.
No mystery. Check the facts of history.
Oh. Yeah.
Check the facts of history. The world is flat on the map. There ain't a mystery, you see?
Let's see. Yeah.
But in a nutshell, even though we just kind of sped through this, what I do in classroom really is I kind of make this, you know, it brings out all of the facts that the children learn, and at the same time it gives them something that's lyrically stimulating. So their participation, their collaboration, their involvement is, you know, way up.
And it can be in their muscle memory too.
Absolutely.
Because then if they can pull it, you know, like your baby.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
That's right. And see, if we incorporate facts and information, dates and names and things of that nature, when those parts of the information, the educational information, is included as part of the substance, then it makes it more easier for the education to be contained in the lyrical flow. So this is just stuff that we put together. So let's try to read this together and see what it says. Who's ready for this? Money makes the world go round. Fight for opposition, it's time to throw down. Revolution changes history. A safe environment is what I want for me. We're all one people, no mystery. The world is flat on the map, you see. Good, good, let's go one more time. Money makes the world go round. Fight for our position, it's time to throw down. Revolution changes history.
Safe and fire is what I want for me. We're all one people, no mystery. The world's black on the map, you see.
Yeah, good. Good. This is nice. And see, the thing about it is that it's subject to editing. So we're constantly participating in it with each other. You know, we're constantly throwing ideas out and saying, what about this and what about that? And we're constantly adding and revising. And in the actual slam book, there's a huge page that after they learn all the lessons that this actually induces for them, then they can actually go on there with their today is alcohol, drugs, prescription medications, you know, all kinds of things. That's what they regurgitate. So we got to find a way to fill them up with better words. With better words. And I'm having an effect, and that's why I continue to do what I do. So like I said, although there's not a whole bunch of people here, there's a whole bunch of people in this city that know that this is going on, and it's going to have a change in the city of Jackson in the future, God willing. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes.
How will you help educators learn and feel comfortable doing this?
Right, that's a good question. One of the ways is, for example, by partnering with other educators like John Brandon, Mr. Dozier, Mr. Coffey. By partnering with people like that that have an understanding of what it is exactly I do, and not only have an understanding, but can do what I do.
Can everybody do that? Are there people that simply can't do it?
Now, they may not be able to do, for example, me, I freestyle a lot. You know, I do impromptu spoken word. A lot of people may not be able to do that. But in terms of what I do on the chalkboard, which is the critical element, that's what's taught.
The kids will be able to do what you do.
Absolutely. And any instructor really would be able to really do that because, like I said, in English, one of the subjects is poetry. I don't know any English teacher that does not know about poetry. And that's all this is. And when you see that there's a method to this, then I have an actual book that they could follow and see exactly, I can do that step by step and make my curriculum in my classroom, you know, relevant to this slam. You know, a lot of the teachers I work with can do it right now. You know, they can do it easily, you know, and they love it. And they'd rather me do it, but they can do it.
White teachers?
Yes, yes.
She said white teachers?
Yeah.
Old white teachers?
It takes time to mold the craft. You know, you go to school, you prepare in college for 4 years. They tell you the theories and the pedagogy and all the correct practices to use in your classroom. If you put a good probably 2 or 3 months into this, really delving into it, I feel like it could make a difference. You just have to apply the same kind of desire to want to change and engage your students. If engagement in your classroom is of utmost importance, which it is, because we want these students to want to be there, then you'll put forth the effort to try something that's a little bit different, a little bit of non-conventionalism. You know, I feel like it could work.
Yeah, and creating an atmosphere where everybody likes a challenge. I told you this before. I remember when they told us back in the day, and y'all know I'm a little older than most, but that we had to speak the Gettysburg Address. I could do it too. I stand up and I would 407 years ago. Our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation and put inflection into it and do it. You make something a challenge to these students and you have them engaged. The thing, especially using something they love like rap. I agree that it's going to be such a takeoff if we can just get the people to hear it and be ready for the change. And I support what you're doing. I tell everybody about Hakeem. I do.
She does.
I think it's fabulous. I told about it on my radio broadcast last week, and a lady called me. She said, "Would you say that guy's name?" I said, "Hakeem Crampton."
Ready for the innovation. We need the innovation.
I think teachers
Do it. And I think the answer to that question is, does a white teacher listen to music? Is there a rhythm that anybody, any person, white, black, whoever, I think all of us can catch rhythm. And I think that's all that's involved in it all, is catching a rhythm. I think every human being has their own rhythm. You have a heartbeat, so you're able to catch rhythm no matter what. So I think that that's the element that we have to, you know, how did he make us all get it? Like he said, he took that first sentence, and money makes the world go round.
Yeah, yeah.
He gave you the rhythm. The reason that she can sit here and recite still the Gettysburg Address is because she learned it to a rhythm.
Yes.
You learn songs that you know that you sing or in your car because they have that rhythm. And I think once you get that makes it, you know, all the more easy. So, you know, just find that he spoke about bars, just finding that timing. I was also a band student, so that 4/4 timing, that 2/4 timing, that, you know, whatever timing you have going on, finding that rhythm, that's the key to it all.
Absolutely.
Yes. Does anybody else have any questions before we conclude this session?
You're doing it at how many schools right now?
3, McCulloch, T.A. Wilson, Jackson High. He's taking it to Holt High School.
Building 21 in Holt High
Building
School.
21 at Holt High School. I've taken it to Osborne High School.
I know you met with some of the teachers at Parkside. Is that still just kind of trying to work it and trying to?
You know what? I really don't know. I haven't really heard back from Parkside since meeting with their English department. The English department at Parkside wants to adopt it. And, you know, right now, Parkside is one of the schools' instruction time. That's the time that the teachers want to use it during classroom instruction time. Whereas at Parkside right now, they're looking at after school, which is good too. After school is good because, see, for me, after school is an opportunity to also implement my mentoring with it. The time to implement the mentoring with it, because see, after school, the children are after school. They're not there to be educated after school. You know, so, and see, the schools kind of look at it as, and introduce to them as a spoken word program. I don't consider the spoken word program at all. I don't. You know, I don't, you know, at all. I consider it using the spoken word in the classroom through lyrical education, using the spoken word, but not spoken word, because that gives it an entertainment quality to it. You know what I mean? And so after school, instead of basketball, you know, they can get up there and do some poetry. So it has a different tone to it than lyrical education. We're actually educating, using concepts, you know, from school, images, ideas, things that need to be learned and imparted to the children. That's what we're bringing into lyrical education, and not just an entertainment quality, because we can do that on the street corners. You know, well, I'm taking lyrical education to the street corners too.
So you at this point, you'll need more people to learn to do what you're doing to take it.
Absolutely.
You can only do what you can do, but if it's going to go, you need to do you need to train some trainers.
That's right. And I'm working with a lot of different people, actually. I've been taking a trainer to Detroit with me, you know, and so they've been seeing exactly what I'm doing there. And on a bigger platform, because in Detroit, they're opening up the entire school. Like, you know, here's 200 students. Speak to 200 of them. What's your message to them? And so I go right in there with the lyrical education message. First and foremost, what I do is I tear their facades down. The facades of them being young street cats, young street thugs, and, you know, the motivations in life they have, the inspirations, the aspirations, instruction time. That's the time that the teachers want to use it during classroom instruction time. Whereas at Parkside right now, they're looking at after school, which is good too. After school is good because, see, for me, after school is an opportunity to also implement my mentoring with it. The time to implement the mentoring with it, because see, after school, the children are after school. They're not there to be educated after school. You know, so, and see, the schools kind of look at it as, and introduce to them as a spoken word program. I don't consider the spoken word program at all. I don't. You know, I don't, you know, at all. I consider it using the spoken word in the classroom through lyrical education, using the spoken word, but not spoken word, because that gives it an entertainment quality to it. You know what I mean? And so after school, instead of basketball, you know, they can get up there and do some poetry. So it has a different tone to it than lyrical education. We're actually educating, using concepts, you know, from school, images, ideas, things that need to be learned and imparted to the children. That's what we're bringing into lyrical education, and not just an entertainment quality, because we can do that on the street corners. You know, well, I'm taking lyrical education to the street corners too.
So you at this point, you'll need more people to learn to do what you're doing to take it.
Absolutely.
You can only do what you can do, but if it's going to go, you need to do you need to train some trainers.
That's right. And I'm working with a lot of different people, actually. I've been taking a trainer to Detroit with me, You know, and so they've been seeing exactly what it represents. And they believe me. They like, yeah, you're right, because I can lift up my jacket and show them bullet wounds. I can pull off my hat and show them bullet wounds. I can lift out my hand and show them stab wounds. You know, I can pull out a piece of paper and show them this is a rap sheet, in and out of juvenile jail and prisons all my life. So when they see that, they're like, okay, you a real cat, so what you talking about? And then when I get to talking to them, I get to telling them what I'm talking about math, science, and history. Math.
Hello, nations. You're still with us, The Connection, and we're still in Jackson, Michigan at the Jackson District Library. One of our famous mentors and heroes, Dr. Martin Luther King, said, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. As we peruse the corridor of knowledge, we are here to discover wisdom. We are here to this education and the reform of education and learning to do education in a different manner. And then once we make that discovery, we want to take that in and we want to learn from that. We want to learn all there is about the wisdom and the knowledge that's held in these books, that's held so that that mind that we talked about is not a terrible thing to waste, because we are feeding it to grow. And then the last is, once we do that, we are destined to succeed. Thank you so much for being with us. Truly, we appreciate you. We want you to support this young man. His name is Hakeem Nathaniel Crampton. He is a lyrical poet with a twist of education. When you see the books, it's called Slam, spoken lyrics with an academic mission. Take a look and see what we found in his presentation. Hello, nations. You're still with The Connection, and we are live in Jackson, Michigan at the Jackson District Library. And look who we've come across. His name is Mr. Dozier, and he can spit. How you doing, sir?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing fine, and it's good to see you. And it is good to see you in this forum. Tell me, how is it that we can use this where we are back in Lansing?
It can be used in the classroom to stimulate engagement with our children in any subject. I feel that it can be used in to stimulate their engagement. What you see back here on the board, we can take a list of vocabulary words and create. And not only create, but then as you're creating, you're dropping, you're pulling, because education to me is it's not about what you pour in, it's about what you pull out.
I'll be looking to hear it and to see it. You are with Mr. Dozier. He is an educator, and he is from the area of Lansing, Michigan. Thank you so much for being with The Connection.
Not a problem. Thank you.
All right. I can't spit, but I can say real thoughts, real talk. All right, we're still here at the Jackson District Library, and I have some top educators in the field of education. I have Miss Christine, who is a professor, and I have Mr. Ed, who is, I thought you said you was a retired principal?
Yes.
Okay, how you both doing?
We're doing good.
Well.
You're doing
We're doing
good.
good.
Motivated after this little presentation.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about the motivation.
Because I've been in education for 40 years, and the looking for strategies to close the achievement gap, that's not a new issue. It's been around since I went into education in the 60s, and I think this is definitely a vehicle to do that.
Okay.
And it's not that complicated. People can do this. This is doable and doesn't cost anything.
All right.
And I can see where it will work because it has all the antecedents for student success built into it.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. What about you, Miss Christine?
I am retired now and taught multicultural education.
Okay.
So I'm excited coming off the African American Summit, which was held at Jackson College last week.
Okay.
And you need to get somebody to come talk about that, Lee Hampton for one.
Okay.
So I'm excited about the idea of this cultural exchange that can happen when white teachers, who are most of our teachers, take on these methods and learn how to relate to their kids who aren't white.
Okay.
and who are white.
Okay. That's awesome, because now what we have is that we have, again, you got 21st century thinking. We have non-traditional way of presenting education, and plus we've got a buy-in from two people who have been in education all their lives, who agree that this program needs to be in our schools. Thank you.
In the 1970s, there was a movement called the open classroom. And part of that was to teach language through a language experience approach. And this is very much like that approach, only it's set to rhythm and music. So it's definitely a good thing.
You want to spit a little bit, Mr. Ed?
I wish I could. I wish I could. I'm going to go home and practice.
Thank you, too. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right.
Thanks.
I read, I write, I slam, that's my fight. I read, I write, I slam, that's my fight. The connection is here with spoken neo-soul poet and Mr. Lyrical Educator shaping that arena, Mr. Hakeem Crampton. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good.
Wow. It is just really, truly an honor to be here with you.
Thank you.
And to see you do what you did this evening. And I must say that I am very, very intrigued by it. I'm amazed by it. But I'm also, I would say, happy to see that someone of our culture, okay, intelligent young man as yourself, is really bringing this type of art form into our educational system, because it needs it. Now, I was sitting out there and I was listening.
Whatnot, and what's there is words. That's what makes up the information. Everything we know about science is contained in a whole bunch of words written in a formula that spells out systematically, you know, the different branches of science.
Okay.
Helps us understand that. So what I do is I take that same information and break it down to the words that they originate from and give them a twist to it.
Okay.
Give it what children wake up each day to. When a child wakes up, even when they're sleeping, their heart is beating at a pulse, at a rate. Their eyes are blinking at a pulse, at a rate. Even in speaking with someone, we speak in turns. And those turns are somewhat lyrical representations, because everything goes with a flow. And so the lyrics are in sets and flows. And so the reason we bring that into education is because our children have the ability to be stimulated with their minds on these sets, these brackets, these bars, these rhythmic patterns that their heart beats to.
Okay.
That, you know, their eyes to access their educational information.
Okay.
So here on the board is a series of vocabulary words that deals with the topic of social studies.
And you know, you took a core content area.
That's right. That's right. These are all subjects. These are all school subjects, social studies.
So with just a little bit of what you shared, I am so proud of you, and thank you for allowing the connection to be here, to see this and to understand exactly what you're doing. And we support you 200%. Because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. We've been, you know, hearing that phrase, but this puts a different spin on it. Your mind shouldn't even be wasted because you have something of this magnitude in the 21st century reforming education that will help us to retain it. So thank you. Appreciate you. All right.